Hey, thanks for tuning in. This is Kyle is Wonderful, and this is the AEW Dynamite review for June 8th, 2022. And wow, great show. Two thumbs up right off the bat, two thumbs up from me. This was an amazing show. Definitely the best show, at least since last Dynamite. I know there's been a lot of shows. We've had two different NXT shows, we've had Raw and also a pay per view and from WWE. But definitely the best thing since, or at least that Rampage was pretty crazy with the Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers. But wow, we knew it was going to be a crazy night after all the craziness that's been happening lately. If you guys aren't aware, and I know, well, this is the first time I've done an AEW review. This is my fifth night in a row. I've just started out, but I'm a 30-year fan of wrestling, and this is my first AEW show that I'll be reviewing. So I will give a little bit of background. Sorry for all you AEW huge fans, but some of my channel members might not be as familiar with the AEW products. So let me just give you a quick background, a quick history lesson. About 3 years ago, AEW was formed, almost exactly 3 years ago, actually. And this was after there was a bet between Dave Meltzer, who's a big time 40 years in the business wrestling journalist, and he had a bet with these two, I don't want to call them independent wrestlers, but they never got big in WWE, the Young Bucks, and also Cody Rhodes was with them, as well as Kenny Omega, who, if you haven't heard about Kenny Omega, just stop this right now and go find Kenny Omega versus Okada matchups. Some of the best matchups we've had in the last 20 years in any country or company. But AEW kind of was birthed off of all the Gaijin, which is the foreign wrestlers going to New Japan, making a big name for themselves, as well as ROH and TNA were filling the void that was left by WCW being purchased, as well as ECW going out of business around the same time. A couple years after that, TNA and ROH were formed, and those two companies were the mecca of American indie promotions. The as far as WWE never really had competition that entire 20-year span where WCW got bought until AEW was born. And AEW was born out of the ashes of TNA. They were born out of the ashes of ROH. They were born out of the ashes of New Japan. And most importantly, I want to get this across, out of the ashes of the old black and gold NXT. And I'm not going to give Triple H credit for the super independent, but it did get it. Triple H was able to get more eyeballs on these wrestlers, which in the long run was able to get eyeballs on New Japan and thus forming the creation of AEW. So in that bet with Dave Meltzer, the journalist, and these wrestlers that were working in New Japan, they the bet was, can you fill an entire stadium, about, I don't know, 16,000 people, with just your independent show? And the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes said they could do that. So they, in fact, did do that with a special event put on. It was a pretty good success. A little bit later, this guy Tony Khan, who's a billionaire, his father owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, and him and his father also own Fulham Football Club, and they had a lot of money, and Tony Khan is a big fan of wrestling. He was literally in the ECW crowd as a fan growing up, and also had a great business sense. So they got together with the people I mentioned, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, along with a couple other their friends. Hangman Page was there. And all of them except Hangman Page became executive vice presidents under this new banner. It's going to be called All Elite Wrestling. They were calling themselves the Elite. And this all kind of formed, the Elite formed out of the Bullet Club faction. And that's when I first started hearing about New Japan Wrestling. And that's when I started watching New Japan Wrestling. So I started watching when I started. The first leader of Bullet Club is Finn Balor, but then he was known as Prince Devitt. So this is pretty, it is timely that just a few days ago we finally got Finn Balor turning heel, and he's going to run a faction on Raw. basically we're gonna maybe be able to see the old Prince Devitt, which formed Bullet Club in the beginning. Bullet Club went through a lot of different iterations. It had AJ Styles as leader for a while before going to WWE. He took Gallows and Anderson with him to WWE out of Bullet Club, a couple of original members, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, who you might remember as what was his name? He was dressed as a Mexican gangster on SmackDown with I'm drawing a blank, but it was the guy that did the Sin Cara gimmick after the original Sin Cara gimmick. He was his bodyguard. Anyway, Bullet Club was a big reason why people started watching New Japan. A lot of the members of Bullet Club are the founders of AEW, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So AEW is just about as I said, they've grown, they brought in, as I hate when people like to say, oh, all these ex WWE guys now, as if these ex WWE guys weren't formed in ROH and New Japan before going to WWE to begin with. The exact same places that AEW gets all their other talent. These quote unquote AEW originals all came from ROH, New Japan, and many other independent organizations around the world. It's dumb to classify things like that. So I'm a fan of all wrestling, and I will call it like it is, and I'll call people out on their BS if needed. So anyway, at the end of the month, this month, it's going to be the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. It's co-branded between New Japan and AEW, which is kind of why I wanted to get into that history lesson at the beginning here. Um, co-promoted show. We don't know exactly what matches are going to be there. The card is beginning to develop as we go here, but we can expect the unexpected as far as some big stars from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I'm definitely excited for that pay-per-view. It'll be, I think, June 29th in Chicago. So it was supposed to be last week's Dynamite. We had just crowned CM Punk as the new AEW champion, who won it from Hangman Page, who won it from Kenny Omega, who won it from John Moxley, who used to be Dean Ambrose. And before that, it was Chris Jericho. So that's the entire lineage of the AEW World Championship. CM Punk won it last Sunday, so about 10 days ago. And on Wednesday Night Dynamite last week, CM Punk did a stage dive. It looked like he banged his foot. And then he had a couple botches where he fell and kind of crumpled and grabbed his foot during the match. So nobody knows exactly when it happened. It could have been during the big main event match on Sunday at Double or Nothing. It could have been the stage dive. It could have been some of the botches in the match on Dynamite, or just an accumulation of all three things plus the previous months of CM Punk coming back to wrestling after about 7 years off. Although he did have an MMA career where, even though he was losing his matches, he was training pretty hard in MMA when he wasn't in the ring. So Friday is AEW's other show. It's a 1 hour show as opposed to Dynamite being 2 hours. So on Rampage on Friday, we got CM Punk coming out in the middle of the show after an amazing Young Bucks versus Lucha Dragons, which is Lucha Brothers, my apologies. And that is Pentagon, if you would know him from Lucha Underground, my favorite promotion ever. And then his brother, real life brother, Ray Phoenix, who I went all of Lucha Underground without knowing that Ray Phoenix and Pentagon were brothers. I don't think they ever mentioned in Lucha Underground, even though they were two of the main characters. So anyway, on Rampage, CM Punk comes out. He's all bloodshot in his eyes, and he's all teary eyed, and he's downtrodden. And he had tweeted out something earlier in the day that was kind of foreboding. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I'll be honest with you. My first thought was I knew that Melanie Pillman, I think even just that same day, but maybe the day before, had passed away. So maybe CM Punk was hanging out with Brian Pillman in the back and was emotional over that. I didn't quite see the injury coming, but then when he did kind of start talking about I'm injured, I remembered the stage dive. I remembered the botches, and it hit me that this was real. So basically, out of that segment, we learned that CM Punk will not relinquish the title. There will be an interim champion. Just kind of like UFC, like if Brock Lesnar was the world champion of UFC and he got injured in training, they're not going to strip him of the title. They're just going to name an interim champion. And then when Lesnar heals up from his injury, he'll fight whoever won the interim champion at a later date for the unified title. And Tony Khan has already established this in AEW before on two separate occasions. So it made sense to do it here. And spoiler alert on something that happens later, they do give us some news on CM Punk. It's kind of vague, and they even mentioned that it was his lower leg. So they're still even being vague about the actual injury. But they said it was good news. He had surgery and everything was looking good as everything could be hoped. We got no timetable of when his return could be. Maybe he could make the all out or all in. I'm not quite sure what they're going on the naming on that one yet, but I think that's in Chicago as well. The next pay per view after Forbidden Door, which is also in Chicago. So hopefully CM Punk can be back for that Chicago show and fight for the unified title. But if not, don't rush it. I hope CM Punk comes back better than ever. It's been great to have him back in the business, and I think he was well deserved to get the world title on him, other than maybe Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. My apologies. Um, some of the people that I would say should be champion. Other than I think Eddie Kingston should have won the Battle Royal tonight and won the main event. Eddie Kingston is my favorite wrestler in the entire world right now. He treats wrestling like it's absolutely real and like this is real life to him, and it just comes across on the screen like he absolutely believes in this. And even though he knows and and I know that none of this is real, he treats it like it's real, and it really, really like draws you in as a viewer. So Eddie Kingston, if I was booking, I would have booked Eddie Kingston to win the main event tonight and go on to fight Tanahashi. Or they could have gone Goto at that point if they didn't want Tanahashi to lose to Kingston. They could have had Goto beat Tanahashi, but that is not what happened. Eddie Kingston was in the Battle Royal, but he did not win it. But there was some storyline that came out of that, and I'll get into that very soon. Apologies for running long on the intro, but I did just want to get the AEW history out there for all my channel viewers that aren't too knowledgeable about the AEW product, just in case. So basically, what came out of the CM Punk, he's not going to relinquish it, but we will have an interim world champion. And like I said, it was already teased that the main event of Forbidden Door in a couple of weeks was going to be Tanahashi versus CM Punk for the AEW world title. That is not going to happen anymore. What will happen is Tanahashi will fight Goto at this weekend's Dominion card in New Japan Pro Wrestling, NJPW. Those two will have a match, and the winner of that match, which I'm assuming pretty much 99% sure it's Tanahashi, will go on to fight the winner of tonight's main event. And we all went into and what it was is tonight's main event was going to be Jon Moxley, who was named the number one contender, and he would fight the winner of a battle royal. We got no details on how many people will be in the battle royal or what kind of battle royal it will be. But it was just said Dynamite would start with a battle royal, and the main event will be the battle royal winner versus Jon Moxley, and the winner of that will fight whoever wins this weekend between Goto and Tanahashi over in Japan. So all that's pretty cool. As far as I wish it was just CM Punk was not injured and stuff, but trying to make good out of the best out of a bad situation. But what I did say, if you watched my pre-show stream that I put on right before Dynamite, I mentioned that I expect tonight's Dynamite to be killer. I expect tonight's Dynamite to be amazing because we already know that there's going to be a battle royal to start and all that stuff I said with Moxley and the title. All of that had to be rewritten and added to the show as late as the earliest they could have known about that is Friday, in my opinion. So they only had about 5 days to plan ahead, and which means they probably already had most of what they wanted to do on AEW Dynamite tonight already written because they have this big New Japan cross-promoted show coming up. And I was exactly right. We got an amazing Dynamite because other than the Battle Royal, which that entire Battle Royal segment and all the surrounding accoutrements took in the entire first half hour of a 2-hour show, which meant I was expecting some good things from the rest of Dynamite. A couple things were previewed or announced beforehand on Twitter. They said it was going to be Pac versus Buddy Matthews, which used to be Buddy Murphy in WWE, and Pac used to be, oh, what up, bro? And Pac used to be um Neville. So Neville versus Buddy Murphy was going to be there. That was going to be amazing. And late before um well, I don't play FIFA too much, but I'm a little busy right now. I'll let you know. But yeah, that Pac match was looking good, but then like right before the show started, they said it was going to be a women's world title match just out of nowhere. So it was going to be Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir, and Marina Shafir did have a really good match on Dark last night, a really stiff match against Sky Blue, and but it still caught me off guard. And I was even thinking, well, Thunder Rosa, she was kind of having some, yeah, AEW. I hope you were able to watch tonight's show, but I'm about to tell you what happened. Um, but yeah, they announced just before the show started Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir, part of the Four Horsewomen. If you guys don't know Marina Shafir, she's married to Roderick Strong, and she's part of the Four Horsewomen of MMA, along with Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, and Jessamine Dukes. So Marina Shafir is a legit badass. Last time we saw her was against Jade Cargill for the TNT title, or the TBS title. That one wasn't very good, but I was expecting better things out of this match since Thunder Rosa is a much more bigger has much more veteran status over Jade. So let's just get into this show. Like I said, we already knew it was going to be the battle royal to start out. I didn't quite know who was going to win. A lot of people wanted MJF to win the battle royal. I didn't see any way that it looked to me like they weren't going to have MJF on TV for months, and that's exactly what happened. Or I mean, we didn't get MJF at all tonight, or even a mention of him. So a lot of people wanted MJF. Like I said, I wanted Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's my favorite wrestler in the world. Pro, if you're still listening, um, Eddie Kingston is my favorite wrestler in the entire world. Eddie Kingston is the man. I thought he should have won the battle royal and the main event. I think he should be interim world champion until CM Punk comes back. And then guess what? I would have Eddie Kingston beat CM Punk when CM Punk comes back. But that's just me. Anyway, a lot of people were thrown out. Like I said, we didn't even know who was going to be in the battle royal or what kind of style it was going to be. So AEW comes on the air. Darby Allin's the first person we see. Darby Allin comes out, and then we already see there's 4 people in the ring. It's Tony Nese, Lance Archer, Daniel Garcia. Oh wait, no, there was only 3 people in the ring. So then we got those 4, and then Eddie Kingston's comes out, and then the bell rings, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Is it only a 5-man battle royal? But I should have known better. And maybe I missed this along the way, but they were gonna make it a casino battle royal, which meant 5 people come out at the beginning, and then after a little bit of time, 5 more people come out, 5 more, and then after all 20 are in, there's one Joker. So it's like a hybrid mix between a Royal Rumble and a Battle Royal. And I really wish AEW did a better job of explaining what the rules were when it first went on air. I thought they could have definitely spent 1 minute showing a little clip of CM Punk saying he was injured, and then having Excalibur explain, oh, there's going to be 5 people to start, 5 will come after that. There's a Joker at the end, and you can eliminate people at any time. Because when this match started, I wasn't even quite sure if they were allowed to start eliminating people or if they had to wait for everybody to be in the ring. So a little confusing at the beginning, but here we go. It's casino style battle royal. No eliminations. The next 5 come out. It's Ricky Starks, Jake Hager, the former Jack Swagger, Ray Phoenix, Swerve Scott, which is Isaiah Swerve Scott, and then Keith Lee. So pretty big hitters out of this first group of 5, or I mean the second group, but the first one to come out. Tony Nese quickly gets eliminated by Keith Lee, and which is funny because I was originally right when AEW came out, I'm like, damn, they got Tony Nese in this match. Like, god damn, like everybody's got a shot. But as we'll find out, not everybody got a shot, and there is a few notable names that were missing. But I give AEW a lot of credit. They pretty much did address every single big name that wasn't able to enter the battle royal other than in MJF. Like I said, there was not one mention of MJF on tonight's episode, which means they're going with the storyline of making you try to think MJF is uh getting fired or whatever, but we all know it's storyline or but I mean, I guess it could turn real at any point. We'll see. So Tony Nese is the first one eliminated by Keith Lee, and then Lance Archer, um, second person out, one of the biggest guys in the match. Lance Archer gets eliminated by one of the other biggest guys in the entire match, Keith Lee. So Keith Lee's asserting dominance at the beginning here. Keep that in mind for later, that Keith Lee's asserting dominance. We got our next five out. It's John Silver of the Dark Order, which I thought that was a little. I guess the Dark Over is very popular, and so is John Silver. So give him a little love by adding him in there. He was the only Dark Order member of the Battle Royal. Along with him in this five is Konosuke Takeshita, which is we've seen him fight Hangman Page not that long ago, and he's amazing. Max Caster then came out with Gun Club, and Max Caster was able to cut a really good diss track rap because usually when he's coming out to cut a diss track rap, there's only like three, maybe four people at the most in the ring. But this time there was like 8 people for him to verbally assault while he was coming out, and so definitely go check out this Max Caster rap. Max Caster, another one of my absolute favorites in AEW and all of wrestling. Um, it's at this point, right after the rap, we go to a picture-in-picture ad break. So we got to watch a little bit of action while we were on commercial. And right when we get back from commercial, we got the next five out. It's Powerhouse Hobbs, both of Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, and then Dante Martin, and the returning from the Best of the Super Juniors. We haven't seen Wheeler Yuta in a month. That's because he was over in New Japan, having a really good showing in the Best of the Super Juniors. Definitely go check some of those matches out. But that's the next five out. Both of Gun Club get eliminated by Keith Lee at this point, which like I was saying, Keith Lee's really asserting dominance and looks like a favorite in this match. And that's when his tag partner Swerve Scott eliminates Keith Lee at this point. And Jim Ross on commentary goes, "Oh, I think that's a smart move by Swerve with the smart move." But I call BS on that. Like, even if so, I see what JR is saying. JR's mindset is, okay, we've established that Keith Lee is like the person to look out for and maybe the favorite to win this. But if the favorite to win this, it happens to be your partner, wouldn't you want it to go down to the two of you at the end? Or at the very least, wait till there's 3 people and then turn on him. So I don't buy it. It was a dumb move. The crowd booed the crap out of Swerve, which I also think is a dumb move. The crowd loves Swerve Scott. What the hell are you doing trying to make him like a bad guy? And this isn't the end of this. So like I said, Swerve Scott eliminates Keith Lee, and then we get the Joker, and the Joker is someone that I was saying was maybe one of my picks to maybe win, and it's Andrade El Idolo. Fresh out of just back from honeymoon from marrying Charlotte Flair. So I wasn't even sure if he was going to get back from his honeymoon in time, but he did get back. Andrade's the final participant. It's at this point that Tony Schiavone on commentary goes, "Well, you might be," and I was even thinking it myself at this point, "Where's Wardlow?" among other people. And like I said, they do address pretty much everybody that didn't get the join at some point. They all address why they weren't in it. So Tony Schiavone goes, "Well, you might be wondering right now why Wardlow isn't in the match. And I've got a scoop later on. I'll have Wardlow an interview and he'll tell you why he's not in the match." So that was interesting, but it makes sense because, like I said at the very beginning, this whole thing was basically so that we can get Tanahashi versus John Moxley. So there's no point in having somebody win the Battle Royal just to lose the Moxley. So I always thought it could be somebody random to win the Battle Royal. I said my dark horse was Daddy Magic from the Jericho Appreciation Society, just because it would be another Jericho Appreciation Society member versus Moxley in the main event. Another one I said was maybe Yuta, which Yuta does get down to the final 3, so stick around to that. And I think the final 2, which spoils the final 2. But anyway, like I said, Everybody's out. Andrade's out there. Swerve just kind of eliminated his own tag partner. Next, we get a quick succession of things happen. John Silver gets knocked out by Hobbs, and then Hobbs and Ricky Starks, they show them like celebrating. Which while that's happening, we missed like 3 eliminations. I had to rewind and put it in like slow motion. And about 10 minutes later in the match, they finally show us a replay of what happens. So what happens is, like I said, Hobbs eliminated John Silver, and then immediately after that, Garcia eliminated Eddie Kingston. Garcia got eliminated by Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston got eliminated by Jake Hager, and then Jake Hager got eliminated by Wheeler Yuta. So, furthering along that Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society, and that was playing out throughout the entire match. Those guys were fighting. Another reason why, while I'm thinking about it, Swerve was an idiot to eliminate his own tag partner, because I would say the other biggest man in the match, other than Keith Lee at this point, was Powerhouse Hobbs, and Powerhouse Hobbs happens to be feuding with you, and his tag partner is in the match. So Swerve eliminates his big tag partner, who could be really helpful for him and beneficial to have, but instead he eliminates him, and now he has 2 rivals, one of them being the biggest guy in the match still, wanting to eliminate him. So really done by Swerve, and I don't know why they had him do that and made him look like an idiot, and really bad booking by AEW, whoever decided to do that. Anyway, we had that flurry of eliminations. Like I said, Garcia by Kingston, Kingston by Hager, Hager by Yuta. After that, we got Takeshita eliminated by both of Team Taz. So Team Taz, which, like I said, is Hobbs and Starks, working together as a team here. And again, a reason why Swerve was an idiot, or AEW is an idiot for making him do that, I mean. But anyway, Takeshita out by Team Taz. Dante Martin out by Team Taz, getting a little retribution from the Dante Martin turncoat after 1 week. Then Starks gets eliminated by Ray Phoenix a little bit after this. Bobby Fish eliminated by Darby Allin, which Darby Allin getting a little revenge on Kyle O'Reilly by who he fought at the pay-per-view, by eliminating O'Reilly's tag partner. But then right after this, Darby, who was working alongside Swerve, so Swerve and Darby were working as a team a little bit, after Swerve eliminated his own partner, Keith Lee. And then here's Swerve eliminating Darby after they had kind of formed an alliance. So there was a clear agenda by AEW management tonight to turn Swerve heel. I don't understand it, but maybe it'll lead to some good stuff. I don't know. Maybe they just were desperate to find a way out of the Keith Lee and Swerve tag team, but I don't buy that. And if that was the reason, that's idiotic, because I'm a huge proponent of, you should always have at least one ally, so that at any given point where I might want to put you in a tag match, you have a ready and willing ally that's proven to have already tag teamed with you in the past. And so if they wanted Swerve and Keith Lee to go their separate ways, I would have kept them both face and just have them go their separate ways. And then later on, if they ever need help, now you got a ready and willing guy that's already established as his tag partner. And this is what every company does this. Like WWE, for instance, their women's tag division can be solved by simply having every woman have at least one ally. They might not tag team all the time. 3 or 4 months might pass without them ever tag teaming with them, but they're an established alliance of tag team that at any given point you could have them team. See how that works? So now you have like maybe Asuka, she's a single star, but she's also in a tag team with Bianca Belair at any given point in, like, maybe Bianca and Asuka aren't currently going for the championship, the singles title. Well, now they have something they can go do because they're already an established, and maybe they haven't teamed in 4 months, but they're an established team nonetheless. And now here's Asuka and Bianca Belair fighting for the challenge, whoever the women's tag titles are. So see how that works? So not to harp on it too much, but I hate the booking of Swerve tonight. The crowd loves him. Why turn him heel? A lot of the old heads will say, well, that's the perfect time to turn heel, but we'll see where it goes. Swerve then gets eliminated by Andrade, and then that leaves your final five people in this 21 people battle, 21 person battle royal. Final five are Powerhouse Hobbs, Wheeler Yuta, just fresh off the plane from Japan for the best of the Super Juniors, Ray Phoenix, Kyle O'Reilly, and Andrade, fresh off the plane from his honeymoon. So, pretty good final five here. Wasn't quite sure where they were gonna go. I was thinking maybe Yuta at this point, just to have another Moxley Yuta. That was another one of my suggestions I threw out in the pre-show. It could be Moxley versus Yuta, but that's not what we got. So we get Hobbs gets eliminated by Wheeler Yuta, which puts over Yuta even more, eliminating the big Hobbs. And that could be something going forward in the future, maybe Hobbs and Starks versus Yuta and Moxley or Danielson, or just a singles feud. And then Ray Phoenix gets eliminated by Andrade. Andrade gets eliminated by Yuta. So two big eliminations by Yuta at the end here. But then Kyle O'Reilly, after a good back and forth, wins it. So Kyle O'Reilly is your champion, the only wrestler in the world I've ever had a conversation with in real life. It lasted about 45 seconds, but from one Kyle to another, congratulations, Kyle O'Reilly. He picks up a big win at the pay-per-view Double or Nothing against Darby Allin, and now he picks up a big Battle Royal win, where we all pretty much knew he was going to lose to Moxley in the main event, but that's exactly why Kyle O'Reilly won this Battle Royal, people. Kyle O'Reilly won this Battle Royal because he was a perfect guy to make it look believable that he could win it, but also it doesn't hurt him to lose in the main event, because whoever was winning this Battle Royal was definitely losing to Moxley in the main event. No doubt in my mind were we finally going to get the Tanahashi Moxley match at Forbidden Door. So whoever wins the Battle Royal was going to have to lose in the main event. Kyle O'Reilly's a perfect choice. He's coming off of a big pay-per-view win against someone that people would tend to say that Darby Allin was higher on the ladder in the singles division than Kyle. So Kyle picks up an underdog or Cinderella kind of victory at the pay-per-view, wins a big match here in the Battle Royal, and then loses in the main event. Kyle O'Reilly looks great coming out of this. Right now, Kyle O'Reilly is still part of a tag team. He's not a singles wrestler. So I think all of it is perfect as far as good decision by AEW to have Kyle O'Reilly win. And spoiler alert, the main event, Moxley does win, and it's a great match, because there was no doubt in our minds that Moxley was going to win in the main event. So I think all of that is great. And right after Kyle O'Reilly wins, we cut to the back. Jon Moxley with a really good promo. Really heartfelt. It harkens back to when he just got back from rehab and he had that really emotional, heartfelt promo. I can't remember exactly everything Moxley says, but he does mention the Monday Night War. So he says the Monday Night Wars are going to play out tonight. Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. So that was an interesting. I did not see him saying that. I didn't have that on my bingo card. So then we go to an ad break, and before we all, like I said, this is at the point where they tell us that CM Punk's surgery went well. They don't give us any kind of timetable. They don't even tell us what part of him is actually broken. They just said lower leg injury. So that was your first half hour of Dynamite. Let's take a moment to soak in what just happened. We had a lot of furthering along of the Jericho Appreciation Society and the feud with the BCC and Kingston. And then we also were told that Wardlow wasn't entering and he'll tell us why later. And just to kind of think about some of the people that we didn't see. And I'm not going to name them yet, because the next segment will let us know why some of those people weren't involved in tonight's matchup in the Battle Royal. So right after we have that ad break, after everything, and they tell us about Punk, they're like, all right, we've got a new championship we want to introduce to you, and they send it to a video package. Now I'm thinking, I think the rest of the world was thinking, okay, now they're going to debut the trios titles, which if you don't know is 6-man tag or 3-man tag team championships. They have these over in New Japan, and they've been around in Mexico, which is where the trios name comes from. Like, and at these Japan and Mexico shows, you might get like maybe 2 singles matches, maybe 2 tag team matches, and like the rest is going to be like 6-man tag team matches. That way, at all their shows, they can get all their stars on, and they don't have to have, if say if you were going to lose tonight, it's better to lose in a random 6-man tag than in a singles match. You could always be getting, for instance, you could be getting triple teamed at the end of the match, and your other 2 partners are nowhere near to help you, and all of a sudden 3 men beat you up, and now you lose. Well, that's nowhere near as bad as a loss as a singles loss. Anyway, I thought, and the rest of the world thought, okay, here they are. They're going to debut the trios titles. That is not what we got. And if you guys remember, Tony Khan had mentioned recently that he's got a lot of title belts in storage right now, pre-made. Now, we got 2 of them just 10 days ago. They said they will not be defended, but they are the trophies for winning the Owen Hart Memorial tournaments. So Britt Baker and Adam Cole both have pink and black um, title belts that aren't ever going to be defended. They're just the trophies, and they do continue to wear them as showing off that they're the trophy winners. So I thought between those 2 belts and the trios belts, that might have been all of the titles Tony Khan was talking about. But I should have known better, because he was talking about he had a lot of belts to introduce. So I don't know if this is where we even end. But out of nowhere, a video package for the all new, it is called the All Atlantic Championship. Okay, pause. Right there, I am not crazy about the name, but I get it. The All Atlantic comes from, okay, All Elite Wrestling, of course, but it's also like a 2-word name with Atlantic in it, just like the Mid-Atlantic title. And this promotion loves Mid-Atlantic wrestling, just like the old Ric Flair and stuff had the Mid-Atlantic Championship. So this is called the All Atlantic Championship. Now, basically in this, the promo shows a lot of international stars. And at first I was thinking, okay, so this is going to be like the Intercontinental title. But no, this is actually more like the international title. So okay, hold on. So basically they show a bunch of international wrestlers that are part of AEW, and then there's going to be a tournament, and it's going to start tonight. So that Buddy Matthews versus Pac match that was advertised earlier is part of this tournament. And I didn't quite know if we were going to get the other tournament matches tonight or not, but no, that was the only match that we got tonight for this tournament. But they did reveal the rest of the brackets. So the winner of the Buddy Matthews versus Pac match was going to fight the winner of the Ethan Page versus Miro match. And then on the other side of the bracket, Pentagon was going to fight Malachi Black. And the winner of that was going to fight, and it just had the New Japan logo there, which tells me there must be another match going to be added to Dominion this weekend, or maybe one of the previous matches already announced will be part of this tournament, and the winner of that will fight the winner of the Pentagon Malachi Black match. So, pause again. Let's pause to soak in what was just told to us. Well, like I was saying, here's our answer to why these are some of the names that we were wondering why they weren't in the Battle Royal earlier. Well, apparently it's because they're in a tournament for a secondary title, which is apparently going to be like some kind of hybrid between an intercontinental and an international title. And the reason I say it's more international than intercontinental is, and like I said, we don't know what the New Japan match is going to be, but the other 6 people in this match, and they all the 6 people in this tournament bracket, they have the flag of their country next to them, and none of them are from America. The closest they have is Ethan Page, and he's from Canada. So Canada is represented. Great Britain is represented through Pac. Um, Australia is represented through Buddy Murphy, and then you've got some kind of New Japan match. We don't know who's going to take part in that. And then the other one is Mexico Pentagon versus Malachi, who, if sometimes we forget, Malachi Black is from Netherlands. So it seems to be a new international title. I would say it would probably rank higher than the TNT title, but then again, we'll find out later on, maybe not. But at this point, I would say maybe you can harken back to like 1994, 1993 WCW, and they had the world title, the international title, and the TV title. And that's basically what AEW has now. Obviously, the world title is the world title. The new All Atlantic title will be the Intercontinental slash International title. And then you've got the TNT title, which is your television title. So that's pretty interesting and some pretty big news that I wasn't expecting whatsoever. But what I was expecting was whatever else other than the battle royal and the main event is going to be pretty crazy, because they probably already had this show written before they had to add that battle royal and main event, which took, between the battle royal and the main event, that was about 45 minutes of a 2-hour show. So that's a big chunk. And like I said, we don't know when the other matches are going to take place in this tournament for the All Atlantic Championship, but we do know that Buddy Murphy versus Pac will take place tonight, and that one of them is probably going to take place at New Japan Dominion. All it had was the New Japan logo, so you'll have to stay tuned to Twitter to find out any more news on that. But immediately after finding this out, we're gonna have Buddy Murphy versus Buddy Matthews versus Pac. House of Black do their big entrance. Julia Hart is there. The entrance is pretty sweet. They all make a note that they're gonna leave Buddy like alone. So the lights go out. The rest of the House of Black are gone, and it's just Buddy in the ring. And then we've got um, so then Ray Phoenix comes out all alone as well, and so this sets up a really good match. Or not Ray Phoenix, but Pac. My apologies. So Pac came out alone as well. So Buddy Murphy versus Pac. Buddy Matthews, I meant to say. Great match. And one thing you'll notice, and I noticed as well, I'm not going to be the kind of guy that's going to give you all the moves in the matches, because I'm just watching the match and enjoying it. So um, I'll take notes on everything, but the actual in-ring action, I'll just say make sure you go watch this match, or don't bother watching this match. And with this match, definitely make sure you go watch it. There was some crazy moves in this match. I knew going into this match, knowing how cool and great Pac and Buddy Matthews are, that this match was going to be amazing. It did not let down. Um, they got a lot of time, a good amount of time added to this match, and Pac ends up winning with the Black Arrow after an amazing sequence. Like, you guys have to make sure you guys go watch this match. So Pac wins with a Black Arrow. The rest of Death Triangle come out. I noticed Pentagon, who got unmasked on Rampage, had a new mask. It kind of looked like a Pentagon Ray Phoenix hybrid. It was black on one side and white on the other. So I don't know if that means maybe we're going to get a new Pentagon going forward, or a new version, but something to look out for. And that segment ended. We went to the back. Eddie Kingston is pissed. He's like yelling at the production crew, like, "Don't tell me I only got a minute. It won't even be that long." Like, just Eddie Kingston is the best thing in wrestling right now. And I don't even care about how good his matches are, which he can go in the ring, but man, nobody makes you excited for a match. It could be a match that was announced 5 minutes ago, and Eddie Kingston in 4 minutes will make you feeling like this is the you've been wanting this match your entire life. So Eddie Kingston's amazing. He's pissed at Hager for eliminating him, and of course the rest of Jericho Society, Appreciation Society, but particular he's mad at Hager for eliminating him, and he wants Hager on Rampage, and he yells at the production crew. And really good segment, really good promo. And again, crazy that we have a new title to fight for. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but at Forbidden Door, the pay per view at the end of June is when we'll have the new All Atlantic Champion crown. Now it'll be interesting to see where they go going forward with this title. Are they going to forbid American wrestlers from going for it? So that'll be interesting. Like maybe they will, and that'll be an interesting twist. Like you have to be non-American to go for this title. So maybe something they do, but like I said, the brackets all had everybody's flag and there was no Americans in it. Now there could be an American in it in the New Japan side. One of the matches we don't know. It was just the New Japan logo. So, and then we had a great Kingston promo, great, amazing, probably match of the night. Buddy Matthews versus Pac. Make sure you watch it. We come back from break after the Kingston promo. Trent Beretta's in the ring. They did mention earlier that Trent Beretta had something to tell us. So Trent Beretta's in the ring. He's looking sad. There's no music. He's just wearing his street clothes. Um, he happens to mention that, and I can confirm, I saw this on Twitter earlier. It is true. But Trent Beretta said it's National Best Friends Day, and I'm out here all alone. So Trent out here feeling sorry for himself. He calls out FTR, basically saying, if you remember, Roppongi Vice fought FTR for the ROH tag team titles, and they were interrupted before the match could finish by the Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb from United Empire. So Trent Beretta is all alone on Best Friends Day, looking sad about it. Calls out FTR, saying I might not have beat you, but I didn't lose either. So I want another match. FTR comes out, and they said, yeah, like, I agree. Like, we didn't beat you. We didn't lose either, but I think your problem you should probably be calling out those guys from New Japan, FTR says, because I mean it's their fault that all that happened or whatever, which is kind of weird for FTR to say, but whatever. It just furthered along the story because the very next second, United Empire's music hits, and a lot of people probably thought, oh, here comes Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb again. Maybe they brought a couple other people with them. Well, here comes Will Ospreay, one of the best wrestlers in the world. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding him. That's neither here nor there, in my opinion. My opinion is that he's a great wrestler. Like, even right now, we can go back and watch a Chris Benoit match and say, oh, yeah, that Chris Benoit versus Jericho match was pretty good. It doesn't mean that you support Chris Benoit as a murderer, but, and I'm not comparing Will Ospreay to Chris Benoit in that sense, but you know what I'm saying. But so it was kind of a big deal that Will Ospreay's here, one of the best wrestlers in the world. And he's from England. He's in New Japan. He's been there for a while. He was one of the junior heavyweights, which is their version of cruiserweights for a while, but he's been in the heavyweight division for a while now, and one of the top people in all of New Japan wrestling. And all of a sudden, Will Ospreay comes out. He's not alone. Henare and the tag team of Aussie Open, which they're all members of United Empire as well. We come out. We do not see Great O'Khan or Jeff Cobb this week, and the only other member I think of United Empire that we didn't get to see was Francesco Akira, which he was also in Best of the Super Juniors. So United Empire, they're pretty cool. They got a green and black color scheme, and they come out and get the beat down on FTR and Trent Beretta. And as we'll find out later on, this will set up a 6-man tag on Rampage. And I think Rampage is another live one. Don't quote me on that, but I think Rampage is live again. But either way, we're going to get United Empire, Will Ospreay, and I think Aussie Open, so Henare won't be wrestling. And then they'll fight Trent Beretta and FTR on Rampage. We go straight from that crazy action to Regal backstage. Regal is backstage with all of Undisputed Era, And notice I said Undisputed Era, not Undisputed Elite. It is Kyle O'Reilly, who's closest to Regal, and Tony Schiavone's there in between them, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. And it's at this point where I was really thinking, man, poor Roderick Strong. You got your wife challenging for the world title, and then you've got this segment here with Regal and the Undisputed Era. Only thing missing is Roderick Strong. Like I said on last night's episode of or the review of NXT, like Roderick Strong is literally there to coach up the youngsters right now. And as they go on the Largo Loop out on tour again, Roderick Strong is going to be a big part of training some of their top tier talent. Maybe they'll let him go within the next 5-6 months or something. Like, hey, thanks for doing that coaching stuff for him and blah blah blah. But I don't know when the exact contract is up either. But anyway, great to see Regal and Undisputed Era here. We've already had Moxley earlier say the words Wednesday Night War, and now we've got Undisputed Era and Mr. Regal here on Dynamite. A big part of NXT Black and Gold during the Wednesday Night War. Basically, Regal says, "Sorry about your damn luck." He didn't actually say that, but that's what he said. He said Regal said that Moxley was gonna just absolutely maim and bloody, and even Regal's scared of Moxley and what he's capable of. So he gives Kyle a stiff handshake and looks at him, and the rest of, like I said, Undisputed Era is there. And then Kyle O'Reilly gets about 30 seconds to cut a promo. Even the camera even recognized that, oh man, this is a really good promo, as it zooms in, getting the other five people out of the shot so that all you're seeing is Kyle O'Reilly. And Kyle O'Reilly cuts a really passionate promo just about just how much he loves the business and his wife and kids, and that's what he fights for, and wants to be the best and all that. It was really good promo by Kyle O'Reilly here. And we go to ad break. We got the next match is going to be Fit Finley's son, the fourth generation wrestler, David Finley, who's a New Japan regular. He was basically brought up by New Japan as a young boy, which is how they train their wrestlers. You start as a young boy, then you go out on an excursion to some other country, and then you come back either a huge star or with a new gimmick. Like Great Khan, for example, was just a regular guy named Oka beforehand. So anyway, we got David Finley. He comes out with a shillelagh just like Fit Finley would. So that was pretty cool. We got Adam Cole out on commentary. He's got the Owen Hart tournament title belt with him. And then Hangman Page comes out. This is the first time we've seen Hangman since Double or Nothing. And he got a great response from the crowd. It was good to hear the great response that Hangman got. Again, pretty good match. I would say nothing was like botchy or out of place in this match. It was a solid match. We all knew Hangman was going to win, and Hangman did win. But we did get some good stuff out of this match, and they did get some pretty good length. At one point, though, something that's notable is right after slamming David Finley's head into the barricade on the outside, Hangman Page goes over to a woman with a full beer and takes a big sip out of her beer. And the reason this is notable is Adam Cole not once on television drank beer when he was champion. All the time before he became world champion, he was drinking beer on TV, and then the entire time that Adam Page was champion, he never once drank any beer on television. And the first time we see him, now that he's lost the title, he's drinking beer again. So definitely notable story point there that you don't want to miss. We go to a picture-in-picture ad break at one point, and then we get Buckshot Lariat for the win. Hangman gets the mic immediately after the match, and he says, well, it looks like I'm not getting any title shots anytime soon since they didn't let me in the Battle Royal. So I guess the next best thing is I want the IWGP title, and I want Okada. Which, holy crap, take a pause real quick. First of all, Okada has to fight Jay White this weekend at Dominion for New Japan just to even get to that potential match. But I do think Okada will retain against Jay White, but you never know. Jay White could be the IWGP champion coming out of this weekend. And for people that don't know, it's the IWGP championship is the top championship of New Japan Wrestling. I'm not in, I even though I've researched this, I still don't know why it's International Wrestling Grand Prix instead of New Japan Pro Wrestling for their titles. But anyway, just know that that's the main title of New Japan Wrestling. And I think at some point, Excalibur probably should have said that, even though if 90% of your audience knows, the other 10% might want to know. Just like I was saying about the Battle Royal rules in the beginning of the show. Like AEW definitely should have remind let people know the rules at the beginning of the show and did a little recap of CM Punk. But anyway, this gets so what I left off. Hangman wants Okada and Hangman wants the IWGP Heavyweight title, World Heavyweight title. So Cole comes down, who was on commentary, of course, Adam Cole, and he's got his belt with him. So we got the picture back and forth between Adam Cole and Adam Page, who were feuding over the AEW title. Adam Page beat Adam Cole twice to retain the title, but now here we are, just like a month or two later, and it's Adam Cole with a title belt around his shoulder, and Adam Page does not. So that irony was definitely not lost on me. Basically, Cole says like, hold on. Like, if any, like, so Cole says, first of all, I don't even think Okada is going to be champion. But let's say Okada is champion. Well, then I got next on the IWGP title. So Adam Cole throws his name in the ringer for the IWGP title, and which tells me either next week or the week after that, we're going to get Adam Cole versus Adam Page yet again. And this time it's going to be for the number one contendership for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And that match will be the co-main event of Forbidden Door. So let's go through our. This one is a lot less by the numbers. Like, we already knew that no matter who wins the Battle Royal, they were going to lose to Moxley, because it was always, once CM Punk was gone, it was definitely going to be Tanahashi Moxley. So, but in this case, it can go any of the ways. So our the different variations of the matches we could potentially get are Okada versus Hangman Page, like was teased tonight. It could be Okada versus Adam Cole, which was somewhat teased tonight. It could be Jay White versus Hangman Page, or in a weird twist, it could be Jay White versus Adam Cole. So that one's the least likeliest, because they're established as friends right now. So I would assume we're getting Okada versus Hangman Page, and that is a match that I'm looking forward to. I know we've seen it before. If you guys don't know, Hangman Page had a lengthy run in New Japan Wrestling, at least 4 years on and off, maybe even 5 years on and off. Where, like, I didn't mention it earlier, but I'm pretty sure Hangman Page had fought David Finlay at least 30 times before in different six-man tag matches throughout them both being in New Japan. So it's not like we haven't seen Okada versus Hangman before. I'm pretty sure we've seen him in a singles match, but maybe not. I'm pretty sure we have, though, and maybe even at an ROH show. But I would definitely be down for Okada versus Hangman Page, the 2022 variants for the IWGP Heavyweight title. That would be a great co-main event to go with Jon Moxley and Tanahashi. And like I said, that one's a little more up in the air. Definitely, I will be reporting on Dominion as soon as it goes off air. New Japan Dominion is this weekend, and I will definitely let you know what happens there. That segment ended, and we quickly got what set up we got the reasoning for the Thunder Rosa versus Marina Shafir match, and that's because earlier Thunder Rosa challenged anybody to a title match. She put out an open challenge backstage. Marina Shafir steps into the scene, and Marina Shafir only had to say like 2 sentences, but they sounded god awful. So Marina Shafir desperately needs a mouthpiece. I don't know if like Smart Mark Sterling probably wouldn't be a good fit, and I wouldn't put her in the baddies either, where your other good manager is. So maybe there's room for a new manager in AEW. If anybody's got any ideas for a good manager, let me know in the comments. But I think Marina Shafir definitely needs a manager. Roderick Strong wouldn't be a bad idea, but he's also not great on the mic either. I wonder, does anybody know if Jasmine Duke is available and if she's good at talking? Because I could see her being the mouthpiece for Marina Shafir. Anyway, we got Wardlow out next, so we're gonna find out Wardlow has a reason. Tony tells us again, Wardlow opted out of the Battle Royal on purpose, and Wardlow's gonna tell us now. So Wardlow comes out to a big reception, big reaction from the crowd, and Wardlow tells us, and it makes perfect freaking sense for Wardlow. Wardlow says, sure, he would love the world title, but he wants to be the champion, and the champion is CM Punk. So when CM Punk's healthy, I'll be ready for you, CM Punk. But until then, I want what I should have had 3 months ago, the TNT title. And out comes Scorpio Sky just out of nowhere, ready to fight. Dan Lambert has to hold Scorpio Sky back. And apparently it's brought up that Scorpio Sky has a knee injury. I don't know if it's kayfabe or legit, but it's basically said without them being on the microphone, you can just hear it over the camera, like, oh well, it'll be later. He's got a knee injury. So I expect Wardlow to win the TNT title. It'll definitely elevate the TNT title, and it gives Wardlow something to do while he waits for CM Punk to return. So I think it's a good idea to give Wardlow the TNT title. Unlucky Scorpio Sky, but Scorpio Sky, I mean, he should probably be in a tag team, to be honest. And we don't know when that match will be. Maybe it's a Forbidden Door match. Maybe it'll happen in a couple weeks. Straight from that segment, we go to Smart Mark Sterling, who's, if you remember from last week, has a lawsuit against Wardlow. He said that all the guards that Wardlow beat up, that he's gonna have to, like, because so all the guards that Wardlow beat up, he basically has a choice between he can go to court and litigation with Smart Mark Sterling, or next week Wardlow can fight 20 guards in an elimination match. And I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, but I am looking forward to a Wardlow versus 20 random guys match next week. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, we left off with Wardlow. He's going to challenge for the TNT title, and we don't know when that's going to be. But next week, we're definitely going to get Wardlow versus 20 jabroni jobbers, and that's going to be hilarious. We go to an ad break, and when we come back, Young Bucks are in their locker room, and they're talking about how now that they've beaten Lucha Brothers, they've beaten Jurassic Tag titles, the AEW Tag Team Championships. Hardys walk in and say, "Oh, you left the door unlocked and open. We could hear you." And so immediately, this is a segment straight out of Being the Elite. If you guys don't watch Being the Elite, even if you're not a Young Bucks fan, it's pretty much canon. It's story stuff that happens in Being the Elite is storyline is real storyline. It the Young Bucks versus Hardys match was built on Being the Elite like an entire month before they started building it on television and stuff like that. So even if you're not a huge Young Bucks fans, you can always fast forward through like the stupid slow motion during their outfits, which is cringe. You could always fast forward through that stuff and just you never know who you're gonna get on there. Like you get the Hollywood Hunk and Ryan Nemeth on there. You get a bunch of other people that you don't get to see on TV, but then they've kind of already established that a lot of the things that happen on here are legit storyline. But anyway, this is a segment. If you like this segment, you're gonna like Being the Elite. So this segment, like straight out of Being the Elite, Hardy's walk in, like I said, oh, you left the door open. We heard you. What you were saying? Like you want the titles, but you didn't beat the Hardys. And then while they're talking about it, Christian walks in with the Jurassic Express, and Christian's like, "Yeah, you guys are real loud, and you left the door open." And so the whole segment was pretty funny. Basically, what we got out of this is next week we're gonna have a TLC three-way tag team title match between the Young Bucks, the Hardys, and Jurassic Express. Which, whew, you couldn't give like Jeff Hardy one more week to recover. God damn. So yeah, next week three-way. They called it. They can't call it a TLC match, but at a point, Christian said a match that made us famous, which the ladder match did make him famous as well. It was the Terry Invitational Tournament, the Tit, where they had the ladder match in the finals, and then Monday Night Raw. Despite whether they were heel or face, Edge, Christian, and the Hardys came out and got a standing ovation from the crowd on Raw for having such an amazing tag team ladder match. A style of match that was never seen in WWE before. It's basically the tag team version of Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. But then, of course, they had the triple threat TLC matches, which this one's going to be triple threat. So this is definitely a TLC match next week. And Young Bucks and Hardys are two of the teams in it, and Christian will be on the outside. So, in a no disqualification match, Christian will be getting involved as well. Too bad that Edge is under contract because I would love to see Edge here. Can you? Oh my God! Can you imagine Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Young Bucks in a triple threat ladder match? God, if anybody knows Edge's contract details, let me know. Anyway, we come from that segment where there was just every segment's a banger tonight, bro. Every single segment's a banger tonight. So we come out of that segment to Marina Shafir coming back out to her original music that she uses on Dark and Dark Elevation. I say that because the one time she was on like national TV to fight Jade Cargill, she had different music and it changed like her whole gimmick and outlook. Like so the music she comes out to is this like really soft and kind of almost haunting violin music, and it like completely goes with her character of she's an MMA girl with zero facial expressions and just a cold-blooded killer, and she's coming out to this creepy ass violin music. So I was glad to see that they put that back on her. And like I said, I was a little bit hesitant or a little bit worried that Thunder Rosa was going to lose in this match just because of the room. I didn't know how true the rumors and how blown out of proportion it was, which I'm sure it was, but we don't know to the extent that Thunder Rosa has been reportedly or rumored to be unhappy with her TV time and not being on TV last week, which we were told later on that she was injured and that's why she was on TV. But they also never even mentioned that she beat Serena Deeb. Like it only takes 3 seconds to mention on your broadcast. Oh yeah, and a big win for Rosa over Serena Deeb. Anyway, I thought there was at least a 10% chance that Marina could walk out tonight with a title. Because if it was like Sky Blue, it would be 100% chance that no. But Marina Shafir has that legit background and is a badass. So, um, Rosa back with her Kill Bill outfit, which I always love that. Although I think the X-Men outfit's probably her best. Picture in picture ad break. Of course, there hasn't been ever one women's match on AEW television that hasn't gotten a picture in picture break. And I'll preface that statement by saying A, at least we get the picture in picture, and B, picture in picture happens to a lot of men's matches as well, including the main event almost every week. So that's might not be neither here nor there, but if there's a women's match, you know it's getting a picture in picture ad break. This was a really good clash of styles: the wrestler versus the MMA, the striker versus the grappler. Um, but then it looked like Marina Shafir had the submission edge over Thunder Rosa, but Thunder Rosa rolls through on a move to pin her down in a good wrestling maneuver for a pin 1, 2, 3, and the match got a little bit of length, but it wasn't super long. But I mean, we're trying to jam out. We had to add 45 minutes of Dynamite tonight that we weren't planning on, so that's understandable to an extent. Um, you probably could have had the Wardlow segment be backstage in only 2 minutes, but they wanted to get the Wardlow out in front of the crowd, and I understand that. But anyway, Marina looked way better than in her Jade match, but that's not hard because Rosa is way more of a veteran than Jade Cargill. Right after the match, Marina Shafir with the Pearl Harbor back stab in the back, big kick from behind to the back of Thunder Rosa's head. And after a beatdown for a little while, we're wondering if Thunder Rosa had any friends in the back, and apparently she does. Tony Storm runs out to make the save and beats up Marina Shafir for a little bit until she runs away. Tony Storm gets the title, and her and Rosa stare back and forth. So it looks like maybe Thunder Rosa's next competitor for the AEW Women's World Title is Tony Storm, but maybe we'll get a Tony Storm's next match might be against Marina Shafir, but after that, maybe against Thunder Rosa. So looking forward to that. One other thing, I just realized is I wonder if we'll get any women's matches at Forbidden Door, and there better be there better be at least one women's match. So we'll find out. We go to the back. Tony Schiavone's getting a lot of work tonight, and he's with the Jade Cargill and the rest of the baddies, including the former Malcolm Bivens, now Stokely Hathaway as their manager and Jade Cargill's mouthpiece. Stokely has a really good but short promo here. They basically call out Chris Statlander, and we find out on Rampage it's going to be Red Velvet versus Chris Statlander. So we get the rest of the rundown of what's announced so far for next week or Friday. So on Friday we're getting Red Velvet. This is on Rampage. Red Velvet versus Chris Statlander. We're getting FTR and Beretta versus Osprey and Aussie Open as part of representing United Empire and of New Japan. We get the debut of Satnam Singh, and they made it kind of look like it might be a tag match. So it might be Satnam Singh in a tag match teaming with Jay Lethal against maybe the Workhorsemen or something. They didn't mention who. And then they also said Hager versus Kingston is official for Rampage, and also we'll hear from Hookhausen on Rampage, Hook's show Rampage. And like I said, I think it's another third week in a row live version of Rampage, but don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure. And then we get next week on Dynamite, it's going to be Road Rager 2012, and we already knew it was Y2J Chris Jericho versus Ortiz in a hair versus hair match, and I legitimately think we might see Chris Jericho go bald. Which will be crazy because if you remember at the pay-per-view match, Chris Jericho, it was a noticeable bald spot. So Chris Jericho might be giving up on the hair, but you never know. It might just be Ortiz having to shave his cool hair. We also got that TLC triple threat match, tag match that I talked about. Young Bucks, Hardys, and Jurassic Express, the champions. This will be for the title. We'll get Wardlow versus 20 guards in an elimination style match. That should be freaking amazing. Hopefully they don't Kevin Nash it in like the old Nitro where Kevin Nash was in a gauntlet match against jobbers, but all he had to do is hit him with a big move and they were eliminated. So hopefully they don't do that. But if they do, and it was on purpose because it's funny as a in joke, that would be funny. But we're also next week. It's official. We'll get the Ethan Page versus Miro in the tournament match for the All Atlantic Championship, and no mention of when we'll get the Malachi Black versus Pentagon El Skiro match. So maybe next week Rampage or maybe Dynamite in 2 weeks. We get an ad break after all those announcements, and when we come back, it's John Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly in the main event. Not much to be said. Another one you should definitely go out of your way to watch. And like I've been saying these last 5 days, if Dynamite can give you anything, it's always going to give you at least 2 4-star matches. And we got 2 4-star matches tonight: Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly and Pac versus Buddy Murphy, now known as Buddy Matthews. And really high intensity in this match. Regal was on commentary, but I think I was so in the match. Either Regal wasn't saying much because he was into the match, or I was into the match and I wasn't paying attention to Regal. But Regal didn't add much to the commentary, but because Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly were doing all the talking in the ring, for or talking loud enough for everybody. Really high intensity match, like I said, stiff. Um, Couple moments where it looked like Kyle O'Reilly could pull it off, but not once in my mind did I think Kyle O'Reilly had a chance. We knew basically as soon as they announced the format of this tournament, it was going to be Tanahashi versus John Moxley. And I remember even thinking when Tanahashi came out on last week's Dynamite, I remember thinking, man, I really wanted to see him fight Moxley, not CM Punk. Like, I'm not gonna be mad at a CM Punk versus Tanahashi match, but it's been a couple years now that we've all been wanting Moxley versus Tanahashi. So when the CM Punk injury did happen, we all knew that that was the eventual um, we know that Tanahashi's going to win at Dominion this weekend, and we knew Moxley was going to win the main event tonight. So, like I said, it was a good idea to have Kyle O'Reilly as the Battle Royal winner because he can afford the loss here. He just had a big win at the pay-per-view against Darby Allin, and then he gets to say he won the Battle Royal. So, a loss here to Moxley where Kyle O'Reilly will probably go immediately back to a tag team isn't the worst thing in the world. And of course, Moxley wins just about a minute past go home. So they fit a lot of action into tonight, and they only went about 30 seconds over. John Moxley with the super brainbuster version of the Dirty Deeds. Apologies, I forget what they call it now, but it's the double armed DDT for the brainbuster version for the win. Kyle O'Reilly with a great showing tonight. A lot of good stuff from Kyle O'Reilly, including that promo. Don't forget the amazing promo Kyle O'Reilly had earlier. And I'm not just biased from one Kyle to another. It legitimately great night for Kyle O'Reilly. Good night from Moxley. Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly both had really passionate, believable promos tonight. We got another really passionate promo from Kingston. None of them are on the level of like MJF's pipe bomb of last week or the good stuff we've seen from Kingston in the past. But 3 good passionate promos are really good. I like the way they did the Battle Royal. It lasted a half hour. We got a lot of storylines evolved in that. Like I said, I hate the idea of turning Swerve heel, which it definitely looks like they want us to the boo Swerve now. I hate that idea, but we'll see where they go with that. Keith Lee was looking dominant, and we furthered along the Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool and Kingston Ortiz. Um, come to think of it, I don't think we saw Ortiz or Santana at all tonight, or Daddy Magic or Cool Hand Dan. So just couldn't fit everyone onto tonight's show. We'll see what happens on Rampage. Other than the things they announced, I'm sure we'll get one or two unannounced backstage segments or furthering along of storylines. I'll be here to break it down after Rampage goes off the air. I'll be here to talk about SmackDown, Level Up, NXT, and Rampage. And then over the weekend, I'll be here to tell you about what happens at Dominion. A lot of things regarding AEW will be on the Dominion show, the New Japan show. If you guys want to watch the New Japan show, just go to newjapanworld.com. It costs about $9 a month. You can cancel at any time. I don't know if they have any free trials because I've been on there forever, but um, definitely, if I would recommend spending the $9 to go test the New Japan product. If it's not for you, go cancel immediately, and you'll still have a month worth of. You could go check out Wheeler Yuta's matches from Best of the Super Juniors, or you can go see Moxley's matches from G1, or anything else. Maybe if you've always heard about the Kenny Omega versus Okada trilogy, that's probably the best wrestling in the last 20 years, and you've never actually watched a full match, those are on there. And of course, all of these they have English commentary, and it's really easy to get through the website. You just turn a translator on and stuff on whatever browser you're using. So definitely recommend go getting New Japan World so we can follow along on the action this weekend at New Japan Dominion. I'll be back tomorrow night for the Impact. Impact has been trying their best to get out of the doldrums of that they've been in, and we'll see. They've got a big pay-per-view coming up, Slammiversary, the 20th year anniversary of TNA's formation. So I'll let you know how that goes tomorrow night. We should be getting at least one TNA original showing up out of nowhere. Last week we got Shark Boy and Chris Harris, the Wildcat Chris Harris, and I'm thinking this week it could be a couple other people from the past. Maybe even a Kurt. I would love to see Kurt Angle show up in TNA, not to wrestle, but just to show up. So I'm gonna get going a little bit longer than I usually go tonight, but a lot happened, a lot had to be discussed, and I also had to start the podcast out with the history of AEW for any of you viewers that aren't familiar with the product but wanted to learn more. And as of course, I'll be here pretty much every day. I'm here if you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'm here to let you guys in on this beautiful world that is professional wrestling. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And I think I'm gonna go get something to eat, but I might put up a Universe 2K WWE 2K stream up. But I'm almost to WrestleMania. I should be getting the WrestleMania either tomorrow or Friday. And look out for the podcast. I'll be doing a pre-show and post-show for my Universe WrestleMania mode as well. So a lot to look forward to on this channel. Give me a subscribe, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.